Have you ever stopped for a moment and wondered why some people seem to turn their dreams into reality, while others keep chasing but never quite get there? It's almost like life has two layers. The one we see every day, the routines, the bills, the responsibilities, and another hidden layer, made of imagination, desire, and possibility. Most of us think dreams belong only in that hidden world. We treat them like fantasies, nice to think about but not really part of real life. But what if that's not true? What if dreams are not just random pictures floating in your head, but the very first sketches of the life you're meant to live? In this video, we're going to explore that idea. We'll dive into how the mind works, why visualization is so powerful, and how you can actually use it to shape your reality. Think of this as a guide, not to escape life, but to recreate it, to align what you dream with what you live. Part 1. Dreams and reality. Have you ever had this feeling? In your mind, you hold a vivid picture of the future you want. A healthy body, a job that makes you genuinely happy, a family full of love, or a life of freedom without chains. The image is so clear you can almost touch it in your imagination. And yet when you open your eyes and look around, reality feels completely different. Those dreams exist only in your head, while in real life, you're still stuck in old habits, the same work routine, and that empty sense that what you desire is always out of reach. The more you crave it, the wider the gap seems to grow. You tell yourself, I need to try harder. I need to work longer. I need to push faster. But it's like climbing a mountain without knowing where the peak is. The harder you climb, the more exhausted you get until you hit that frustrating wall. All the effort, yet the results barely change. And that's when the questions creep in. Am I just not good enough? Am I unlucky? Maybe I don't even deserve the life I want. But here's the truth, it's not about effort. The real issue is that you're trying to build a house without a blueprint. You have dreams, but they're blurry, scattered, unfinished. You want success, but you've never defined what success truly means for you. You want happiness, but you've never drawn a picture of what happiness actually looks like. It's like asking an architect to build a skyscraper from a blank page. You're chasing a foggy shadow with no foundation to make it real. This is why so many people get stuck in the same loop. Dream. Try get disappointed. They can see a better version of themselves on the other side. But between them and that version, there's always an invisible wall. And the more they bump into that wall, the more they believe they lack talent, instead of realizing the problem is in their approach. The important thing to remember is this: dreams are not liars. The images you see in your mind aren't there just to decorate your boring routines. They're signals, reminders, that another version of you can exist. The real question is, how do you turn those signals into reality? To do that, you need a bridge, a method that connects what you see in your mind to what you live in your everyday life. And that bridge is conscious visualization, not daydreaming, not fantasy, but an intentional practice, a purposeful process that turns your dream into the very first draft of your reality. So, what exactly is visualization? And why is it called the starting blueprint of all creation? That's what we're about to dive into in the next part. Part 2. Visualization as the blueprint. Every creation in this world begins twice, first in the mind, then in reality. An architect sketches before the building is ever raised. A composer hears the melody before a single note is played. A writer sees the scene unfold before a word is written on the page. Visualization works the same way. It's the mind's blueprint. It's not just entertainment, not just fantasy. It's a living design that whispers itself into existence. When you close your eyes and picture your future clearly, you're not pretending. You're planting seeds into the soil of your subconscious, seeds that quietly begin shaping the life you live. The problem is, most people do this unconsciously. They let their imagination run on autopilot, projecting blurry, unfocused pictures. And when the inner movie is messy and incomplete, reality ends up messy and incomplete too. It's like trying to navigate without a map. You just keep circling around, stuck in the same patterns, wondering why nothing changes. But when you visualize with intention, something powerful happens. You're no longer daydreaming. You're building a design. You're handing your subconscious a detailed sketch saying, this is the life I'm choosing. This is the direction I want to go. And your subconscious, like a craftsman who doesn't question orders, begins working quietly to turn that sketch into form. This is why visualization has been called the bridge between what feels distant and what can be lived. It takes the intangible, your desires, your longings, and gives them structure. It turns the someday dream into a plan your mind and body can actually follow. So think of visualization not as a fluffy exercise, but as the very first draft of reality. Just like no building exists without a drawing, no life transformation happens without an inner design. The question now is, what does it take to make that design strong enough to actually show up in the real world? That's where the three core elements of visualization come in: clarity, consistency, and emotion. And once you understand these three, your blueprint will stop being a sketch and start becoming destiny. Part 3. The three core elements. So how do you make your blueprint strong enough to hold up in reality? It all comes down to three core elements: clarity, consistency, and emotion. Think of these as the foundation, the walls, and the energy that bring your inner design to life. The first is clarity. A vague dream like "I just want to be happy" or "I want to be successful" is like handing an architect a blank sheet of paper and expecting a skyscraper. It's too foggy, too undefined. Your brain, much like a GPS, needs exact coordinates. What does happiness look like to you? Is it waking up with energy? Traveling to new places, sharing dinner with family? What does success actually mean? Is it freedom of time, financial security, or creating something meaningful? The clearer your inner picture, the stronger the pull toward it. But clarity alone isn't enough. A single vision imagined once is just a spark. It flickers, then fades. This is where the second element comes in: consistency. Returning to your vision again and again is like watering a seed. Each time you revisit your dream in detail, your subconscious absorbs it more deeply until it becomes familiar, almost inevitable. Just like no garden grows after one watering, your future doesn't bloom from a single glimpse. It needs repetition, a steady rhythm of mental rehearsal. And then there's the third element: emotion. This is the fuel that powers the engine. You can have the clearest, most consistent picture, but if it feels flat and lifeless, it won't stick. Your subconscious speaks the language of feeling, not logic. When you bring emotion into your vision, excitement, gratitude, joy, it comes alive. It shifts from being a cold drawing to a living memory your body believes in. Clarity gives your dream shape. Consistency keeps it alive. Emotion makes it real. Together, these three elements transform visualization from daydreaming into destiny. They engrave your vision into the subconscious so deeply that life itself begins to bend toward it. In the next part, we'll go even further, because seeing isn't enough. To make visualization powerful, you have to step inside the vision and experience it with all your senses. That's where the real magic begins. Part 4. The power of the senses. Visualization doesn't stop at simply seeing a mental picture. If all you do is look at it in your mind like a flat photo, it stays shallow. To make it powerful, you need to step into the vision with your whole being, through sight, sound, touch, smell, even taste. Why? Because your subconscious can't tell the difference between something vividly imagined and something physically lived. Think about it. When you picture yourself biting into a lemon, you can almost taste the sourness and feel your mouth water, even though no lemon is there. That's how strong the senses are in shaping reality. So instead of just watching your dream from a distance, try walking into it. If you're visualizing a snowy mountain, don't just see the white slopes. Feel the cold sting of air on your skin. Hear the crunch of snow beneath your boots. Smell the sharp pine carried by the wind. Sense the warmth of your jacket hugging you. The more detail you add, the more convincing your mind finds it. This isn't fantasy. This is mental training. Every time you rehearse your future with full sensory detail, you're teaching your subconscious what reality to expect and move toward. That's why athletes use visualization to perfect their routines without lifting a finger. The same neural pathways fire as if they're actually performing. And here's the secret. When you train your senses like this, you stop treating your dream as something out there in the future. It becomes familiar, like a memory you're stepping back into. When the real moment finally arrives, you're not nervous or caught off guard. You feel ready, because you've already lived it many times within. Each sensory detail is like a brushstroke on the canvas of your mind. Over time, those strokes paint a picture so vivid that your subconscious begins to treat it as truth. And once your subconscious accepts it as truth, it starts reorganizing your habits, decisions, and awareness to match. That's the power of sensory immersion. It transforms visualization from imagination into rehearsal for the life you're actually creating. Part 5. The subconscious, the silent worker. Here's something most people overlook. Once you've built a clear vision and charged it with emotion and sensory detail, the real work isn't done by your conscious mind. It's carried out quietly behind the scenes by your subconscious. Think of your conscious mind as the captain who sets the destination, and your subconscious as the crew who actually sails the ship. The captain doesn't row the boat, he just points and commands. The subconscious is the one who keeps rowing, adjusting the sails, and guiding through storms even when you're asleep. When you consistently feed your subconscious with a vivid blueprint of your dream, it takes that as an instruction. It doesn't argue. It doesn't ask, is this real yet? It just works tirelessly to close the gap between where you are and what you've imagined. That's why sometimes you'll get random sparks of inspiration out of nowhere, new ideas, sudden clarity, or meeting someone at the perfect time. That's not coincidence. That's your subconscious connecting dots you didn't even realize existed. The key is repetition. The subconscious learns through patterns. If you only visualize once, it won't stick. But if you return to that vision daily, seeing it, feeling it, living it, your subconscious begins to accept it as part of your identity. And once it becomes part of your identity, your behavior naturally aligns with it. You'll notice yourself making different choices, spotting opportunities that were invisible before, and moving with a quiet confidence you didn't have. This is why visualization isn't just daydreaming. Daydreams fade. But when you engage your subconscious, you set in motion a silent worker who never sleeps, never complains, and never loses focus. So the question is, what kind of orders are you giving it? Because whether you're conscious of it or not, your subconscious is always working. If you fill it with fear, doubt, and failure, it will build more of that. But if you feed it clarity, emotion, and sensory-rich visions, it will slowly but surely carve a path toward making them real. That's the silent partnership most people never tap into. But once you do, you realize you're not doing this journey alone. Part 6. Belief and Emotion. The fuel of visualization. Now here's the thing. Your subconscious isn't powered by logic. It doesn't care much about facts, charts, or endless reasoning. What it responds to, what it really feeds on, is emotion. Think about it. Every strong memory you carry isn't just about what happened, it's about how you felt when it happened. That feeling burned the moment into your brain. Visualization works the same way. If all you do is imagine in a flat, lifeless way, nothing happens. But if you charge that vision with genuine feeling, excitement, gratitude, confidence, it lights up like a fire. That's the signal your subconscious actually listens to. And then comes belief. You can't just picture your dream while deep down whispering, "But I don't think this will ever happen." That contradiction cancels everything out. Belief is the switch that turns imagination into instruction. When you believe even just a little, your subconscious takes it as permission. All right, this is real enough to work on. Of course, belief doesn't always come instantly. Sometimes you have to act as if. You repeat the vision, you attach positive emotion to it, and little by little your brain starts buying into it. It's like rehearsing a role until one day you stop pretending. You become it. That's why top athletes, performers, and creators don't just visualize the outcome. They load it with feeling. They picture the roar of the crowd, the weight of the medal, the rush of crossing the finish line. They don't just see success, they feel it in their bones before it happens. So here's the formula. Clear vision, backed by strong emotion, anchored by belief. That's the fuel. Without it, visualization is just a daydream. With it, you've got a rocket engine aimed straight at your dream. Part 7. Visualization, the bridge to reality. At the end of the day, dreams aren't meant to tease you. They're not some cruel joke the universe plays to remind you of what you can't have. No, dreams are invitations. They're glimpses of a version of you that already exists in potential, waiting to be called into reality. And the bridge that takes you from where you are now to that version, that bridge is visualization. Not wishful thinking, not fantasy, but a conscious practice. It's the blueprint you draft in your mind before a single brick is laid in the real world. Think about every great creation, every invention, every work of art, every business empire. Before it became real, it lived first as an image in someone's head. The Wright brothers pictured flight before they ever left the ground. Steve Jobs imagined an iPhone long before the first prototype existed. Every transformation starts in the unseen. So the question is, what are you seeing? What blueprint are you drawing? Because if you don't choose, the world will choose for you, and you'll end up building someone else's vision instead of your own. Here's the empowering part. You don't need to wait for permission or for the right time. You can start now. Close your eyes, see the life you want, feel it, and let that vision shape your thoughts, your actions, and eventually your reality. Visualization isn't magic. It doesn't replace hard work, but it's the spark that makes your work meaningful, the compass that keeps you moving in the right direction, and the energy that fuels your persistence when the road gets tough. So hold on to your dreams, see them clearly, feed them with emotion, believe in them with all your heart, because the life you imagine today could very well be the life you're living tomorrow.